Gear up, Scooter fam. Today we're going to take a look at some warranties and return policies. Alright guys, so just a reminder, there are 3 ways that you can choose to support the channel if you like. Buy me a coffee, pick up some merch, or join my Patreon. Thanks for your support. So, like I said, we're going to get into a few reviews of warranties and return policies, so refund policies and so forth. We're going to look at Voro Motors, Apollo, Segway, and Solar. Also, before we get going, I just want to mention that CES 2025 is going on for the next 3 days, July 7th through July 10th in Las Vegas. Paul is going to be at the VMAX booth. If you happen to be able to go, stop by and say hello to him. Segway has a few scooters to announce there as well. I saw In Motion and some other places, so I'll keep you guys posted on anything that I find out over the next few days. All right. So to start off with, we're going to take a look at Voro Motors first. I was going to do some of these, but to be honest, it took me a couple of days to get through all this information. I feel like an attorney trying to read through a bunch of legal jargon on these warranties and so forth. So it was a bit taxing and not the most enjoyable experience. But I did want to get these, and then in the future, I just encourage you to look really closely at warranties and return policies and so forth, because I think some of them are a little questionable, and I'll go over that. So I'm going to go over each one. I was going to score them once again, but it's really a lot to break down and sort of line up. So there are some things that can be compared, and some things that are more difficult for whatever reason. So just because they don't really get into the kind of detail in there as others, so forth. And then some of them are worded differently, better, what have you. All right, so Voro, one interesting thing, they do have 1 year warranty on their scooters. But interestingly enough, you must buy through Voro Motors. If you choose to buy through like Alien Rides or something like that, they're not going to cover your purchase, which is interesting. But they will not. They'll leave it up to the retailer to cover that warranty. So anything you buy from that, like an eMove product from a different place, will not be covered by Voro. You will have to go through the actual retailer. They offer shipping insurance. I'll give a little bit more on my opinions on shipping insurance at the end. But in short, I don't think it's a good thing. All right. You can cancel within 24 hours, except if it's being airshipped, and then it's only 6 hours. It has to be unopened within 3 days, and there's a 20% restocking fee. You can refuse the shipment. It'll also be a 20% restocking fee. Must be unopened within 3 days, and then there is a 20% restocking fee. If you refuse the shipment, there's also a 20% restocking fee. Outside of the 3 days, you can exchange or get a refund in the form of a gift card or store credit, and then there's a 20% restocking fee. So 3 days has to be unopened, and then 30 days, but they'll do a exchange, refund, or store credit, and there's a 20% restocking fee either way. We'll cover theirs. If you buy from Apollo or any authorized retailers, they will honor their warranty. The shipping will be covered by the customer. I believe that's the case in all of these. Apollo does offer shipping insurance as well through Apollo Plus shipping. One thing I found was it does not cover the failure to download an app for app updates, which is interesting. Once again, it's one of those things where it feels like that you kind of are forced to use the app to be able to validate the scooter and keep the scooter up to date and so forth. And if you don't, it will not be covered under warranty based on what I'm reading. Once again, it's kind of, the wording is really interesting, but that is what it says. They have 14 days to return it with a restocking fee of $50 plus a 3% transaction fee reversal for what they had to pay for the transaction. So to be honest, as I was looking, and I did send Apollo a quick note because once again it was a little confusing. So you have $50. I did get an email back from them. I did email them. It is a flat $50 rate for restocking, and then a 3% transaction fee that they were charged from the payment processing software company. Moving on to Segway. Segway does have a 2-year warranty at Segway or authorized dealers. You have only 6.5 hours to cancel before a 15% restocking fee. You have 30 days from delivery to in unopened condition to return your product. I did not see any shipping insurance, but it does say that they are no longer responsible for the loss or damage to your scooter once it leaves Segway's warehouse. There is a cap of $300 for lighter items, and then $600 for heavier items such as the super scooters, etc. On the 15% restocking fee. All right, for solar, there's a 2-year warranty. It must be an original purchaser from Solar. It is $195, roughly $200, to get them to help you with the return. There is an 8% restocking fee. Tron Edition scooters cannot be returned because they're considered customized. You have 4 days from delivery to return your product. I did not see any information on shipping insurance. The item must be unused and unopened as well. All right. Final thoughts on these. Sorry, this was kind of a bogged down video. It's taken me a couple of days. I didn't really get the amount of information that I wanted to get in a clear, concise manner. I'd like to, I don't know. We'll see at some point. I'd like to actually get, someone on like a video call or something like that I can record and make a video. Just kind of asking some questions and kind of, giving my feedback on a few things. But I don't know if they'll be willing to do that because I'm going to be kind of critical. All right, so let's get into my final thoughts. To be honest, shipping insurance is a absolute joke. It's a joke. You should not have to pay an additional charge for something that you bought, wherever it's from, to get to you in a okay manner or to get to you at all. When I got my Klima, I was hesitant to not get shipping insurance as much as I felt like it was a ripoff. And I'll quote that, ripoff. Anybody who wants to see this video, care if it's a company or not. Shipping insurance is a ripoff. Period. Point blank. That's it. And there's just no reason to charge me more money once I pay you thousands of dollars for a scooter to get to me in good condition or at all. What they're telling you, in my opinion, is that if you don't pay shipping insurance, which is why I paid it, and it was not a good feeling. It was not I feel better because I have shipping insurance. No, I felt ripped off, and I felt it was necessary evil on my part to pay it because I was nervous about not getting it. It's absolutely unreasonable. And but I paid it. I paid it. I didn't get any damages from the shipping, but supposedly if you pay that, it's kind of an extra layer of protection, and you're supposed to be able to have a hassle-free type of return situation and so forth. I did not get that. I didn't get that feeling when dealing with my issues. So although they weren't necessarily shipping that was the problem, it was more quality control. But in any case, if I pay $2,000 for a scooter and it just never showed up, and then the retailer started pointing fingers at the carrier, and then the carrier started pointing fingers at the shipper, and no one knew what happened, and I didn't pay insurance, you're telling me my money is gone? That's on me. It's my responsibility to make sure that the scooter I bought from you for thousands of dollars actually gets to me, and that it gets to me with no damages? No. Absolutely not. That is something that should be covered by the retailer. If they don't want to cover it, they should hold the carrier responsible. Giving it to the carrier and saying it's out of my hands is not acceptable. Not acceptable whatsoever. If you want to charge shipping insurance, charge shipping insurance, but charge it and add it in the cost of the scooter. Stop adding it as an additional fee. It's a ripoff. Period. So, this is one of the just things that irks me. I was not happy that I had to pay it. I didn't have to pay it, but I felt like I had to pay it. Otherwise, my scooter doesn't come. Oh well. I regret paying it. I didn't get anything for it. It still arrived. Not having anything to do with the shipping, but still in not great condition. So, imagine if you bought your scooter or anything from Amazon, and Amazon said, "Hey, sorry, you know what? We don't know what happened. We shipped it. See you later." I've bought a lot of things from Amazon. I got two scooters from Amazon. And if you think I had to pay shipping insurance for anything on Amazon, there's no way. I would stop dealing with Amazon if they started making me get shipping insurance to make sure that my product gets to me in good condition, or gets to me at all. I've had plenty of things not ever make it here. And of course they refunded my money without question. I got my money back. And I was able to get in touch with someone right away on a chat to resolve my issues right away. No shipping insurance, no anything. And they sell scooters on Amazon. And not all of them are no-brand scooters. There are Segways, InMotions. There are a few decent brands on there from places such as like Segway, who will once they send it out, they're no longer responsible. However, if you order from Amazon, you're guaranteed your product is guaranteed to make it to you. It's guaranteed to make it to you in good condition, or you can send it back. And they didn't charge me to send it back. They didn't say I had to pay shipping. They'll arrange for someone to come pick it up from your address, everything. So if I chose to buy a Segway, or you choose to buy a Segway, it might be in your best interest to get it from Amazon. They're still going to cover the warranty at Segway in this particular case, and so you're tied to those kind of terms. And it's a ridiculous thing. I've never heard of it. I don't know if it's something that goes on outside the United States and people just accept it. I'm not sure why people accept it. I'm thinking it might be because maybe so many people are just paying for these scooters in payments. And so they're not really concerned about all these little things because they're not paying it out of pocket right away. It's all calculated. There's also additional fees that come with the interest rates on these purchases. But I don't, nor would I, purchase a scooter on credit in payments or otherwise. And so I'm paying out of my pocket for any scooters that I buy. And if I do that, I'm certainly not going to want to pay insurance to make sure that the money that I gave you actually goes to something. And any other way of looking at that is absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. It's one thing that really just bugs me about scooters. I just don't think I would do it again. I don't think I would do it again. And if I didn't get my scooter and something happened to my scooter on the way, damaged, what have you, and I wasn't able to get a acceptable resolution from the company, let's say Voro Motors, it would be unfathomable that I would lose thousands of dollars because I didn't pay an extra $80 to $100 or so for insurance. I think I paid like $60 or something for my Klima. I'm not sure, but I paid it, and I could have taken it away. And sometimes I even try to remove it from the cart. It'll automatically put it in your cart, and even though you remove it, it'll automatically put it back again. And I just think that's absolutely ridiculous. I know I've said that a million times, but I really can't stress it enough. It's an absolute ripoff. They can charge, once again, they can just include it in the price. They don't have to say, hey, you know what? You have a choice. You can get your scooter or you cannot, or you can guarantee, we don't guarantee you'll actually get it unless you give us more money. That's ridiculous. Take that $50, take that $80, whatever it is, and add it to the price of the scooter. Cover it on your end. Work it out with the carrier. You guys figure it out. Stop acting like it's my responsibility to get the stuff that I paid for from you to me. This is probably the most hype that I've ever gotten in a video, but it's warranted. No pun intended. So, absolutely ridiculous. I'm gonna move on. Another thing that kind of bugs me when I've done some of these things and looking around, putting things in the cart. You get ready to put things in the cart, and they'll ask you, "Hey, do you want this? Hey, do you want to bundle it? Do you want to add this to your order? Would you like some fries to go with that? Whatever it is." And if you're like, "No, I'm good. I just want the scooter that I want. I don't need an extra bag or anything like that," then you have to choose an option that says, "No, I don't want to save anything." If you go onto some of these sites, they automatically pop you up with these kind of spammy little pop-ups and say, "Hey, here's $200 off, or here's 20% off if you order today. Do you want it? Do you want to give your email?" No. I don't want to say, "Oh, you don't want to save? You don't like saving? You don't like free things?" They'll say stuff like that, and it's absolutely cringe-worthy. If I said I don't want it, I don't want it. Stop making me say something I didn't say. I never said I don't like to save. I never said I didn't like free things. But what you're doing is you're twisting these words. You're twisting it around, and it demeans my intelligence. It insults my intelligence, right? It insults your intelligence, and so it acts like you don't understand what you're giving up. Wait a minute. Are you sure you don't want to save money? I feel like I'm at a sleazy car salesman or something. Are you sure you don't want this extra coverage on your car that you're never gonna use? Yeah, I'm sure. Okay. You can ask me if I'm sure, but to say something like, "Are you sure you don't want to save money?" I bought my car, my Dodge Challenger Scat Pack wide body, and I paid cash, just keeping it real. And the guy was like, "Oh, you don't want to, you want to cover your oil changes and all, we'll give you free oil changes and so forth." And I bought it from a place I had to go out of my way to get because they had the car that I wanted. And specifically, they had a Scat Pack wide body Challenger with a shaker hood, and I couldn't find any other shaker hood wide bodies in the in the same. You could get a shaker or you could get the wide body, but I couldn't find any other shaker wide bodies already put together like that. You can custom order them, but this one was already ready to go, sitting in the showroom, and I knew I could get a little bit of a discount if I went up there and kind of argued them down a little bit, and I did. So knocked off about $5,000. At the time, that was really good considering this was post COVID and no one was giving deals on cars. They're still really not as much, but they weren't at all back then. So I was happy to walk away with that, and I was willing to walk away. But in any case, they had the car I wanted, and I went there. And I just, I don't like, are you sure you don't want to do that? I mean, it doesn't matter to me. Well, if it doesn't matter to you, why aren't you asking me? So when I declined all of their extra protection, extra coverage, extra this, extra that, he was clearly unhappy. That's his job. He's a finance manager. His job is to squeeze out as much money from me as I can. You think I don't know this? You think I didn't watch tons of videos before I went to make these purchases and see what the ins and outs were? Of course I did. So I knew what they were going to pull on me when it's not the first car I bought. I knew what they were going to pull on me. And so I went there. I said, no, decline. And they try to spin in a million different ways. And I'm like, no, I don't want any of that. I'm just getting my car and I want to leave. And so, yeah, it's absolutely silly that they have to come across like that. And so they do that to you now. These scooter companies will do that to you now. When you try to add something to the cart, or sometimes just when you're going on the site, even try to leave, it'll pop you up with another spammy pop-up. Hey, where are you going? There's more money to save and so forth. Like, I get that. I'm just shopping, looking around. Anyway, that's another thing that kind of bugs me. You don't like money? Don't insult me. What else? In general, I think these scooter companies need to do a better job of servicing their customers, of providing quality customer service, quality interactions, and so forth. And I think they should be constantly held to a higher standard than what they currently are. And I think people should demand it. And that ends there. I'm going to demand it. It's making me seriously question the different companies that I'm considering buying from when I take a closer look at some of their exchange policies, their warranty policies, their shipping policies, and so forth. None of them make me feel good about my purchase. I buy tons of stuff from Amazon. Sometimes on a weekly basis, I have no idea how much money I spend on Amazon. I'm a Prime member because of that reason. And if I had these kind of problems with Amazon, I simply would stop shopping with them. And that's the reason why Amazon is so successful, because you are worry-free. You're worry-free. You can place your order. You already know they got your back. If something goes wrong, they've helped me out a couple different times. Several different times. I have 2 scooters because of them. I was going to send the first Journey Max back, and within minutes they were sending me another one even before I sent it back. And then I got the second one, and it didn't. It had problems, and so I was going to send it back, and I told them that I had the scooter 2 weeks. I had been riding it around. None of these other places will cover that. If you take the scooter out of the box, it's over. Nope. We said unopened, unboxed, or whatever. So no, you can't open it. You can't take it out, test it. On the first scooter, it was just cosmetic stuff. And even though it was just a scratch here, some rust on the stem, they sent me a brand new scooter right off the bat. Boom, no problem. It was here in days. So, and then I had another problem, and they were like, okay, we'll just send the one back, because the second problem I had was the fender was warped and it was rubbing the tire as I drove. I tried to bend it myself. Very simply, I didn't go to a ton of trouble because I didn't feel the need to have to do something like that to a scooter I just bought brand new. So I contacted them back and I said, the fender's warped. And they're like, okay, we'll send it back. I was like, okay, fine, but I've only got one box and I have 2 scooters. First they said, well, you can use this other box to send your scooter back. So I said, I only got one box. I have been riding it for 2 weeks and I'm not sure what to do. And the other one I took out, put together. I didn't realize that it was rubbing until I went to ride it around. On these other scooter companies, they'll send you a new fender, which is fine. But I mean, I didn't buy the scooter to fix it. I bought the scooter to ride it. And that's another thing that I feel like is unacceptable from these scooter companies. They'll send you the scooters, tell you to fix it yourself. They'll send you the parts, sometimes charge you money for sending it. NAMI was willing to send me some replacement brake sensor cables, but they're going to charge me $50. I just bought this scooter. I just bought it. And it came messed up because you guys missed the ball on quality control. And I'm paying $50? It just didn't make sense to me. I don't care what it's for. The scooter didn't get to me in proper condition. You're putting that on me. I contacted Fluid, and Fluid sent it to me, free shipping and so forth. But after going through the hassle that you guys have probably heard before. However, these things are, and then some of these things I was reading, all this legal jargon was really draining and frustrating when I'm reading some of this stuff too. And I'm just like, I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to have to deal with these things. And the fact that there's so many problems. There are so many problems with scooters. I don't know. I don't know how to paint a pretty picture of it. I don't want to intentionally try to paint a pretty picture of it, like, a lot of other channels do. But I will say that, look, it's your money. It's your investment. It's your time. Even if you are paying payments, which I just, don't necessarily agree with, but I'm not your financial advisor. But I will just say that in my personal opinion, I would save up as I would, to get what I wanted. And then I would make sure that my money went to something, because saving takes discipline, and you do something like that, and then you'll put a lot of thought into where your money is going and how it's being utilized and so forth. So no, I'm not gonna finance my scooter with a firm or whatever else they got. Don't know, or Kangaroo, whatever it is. I'm not gonna pay extra to make sure that the money that I spend on a scooter that you're trying to sell me gets to me, or gets to me in good condition. Imagine you go spend, however much money, and you get your scooter. Klima, for example, you take it out of the box, and because you took it out of the box, it's no longer covered. I don't think that's the case with Fluid, because I was going through some stuff with them, although they never did offer to return it. So, I didn't read the fine print. They could have been something like that, but I believe that they would have been willing to work with me. But if I had pushed, but I didn't push, I was more trying to just get the problem solved, and I think they count on that as well. So, there's just so many problems with that I really don't like. And I can't seem to find one company that does a good job on all these things. Every one of them seems to be a bit self-preservation, so to speak. And there's a balance in that. So I have an MBA, and I'll tell you a story. When I was getting my undergraduate degree in economics, it was a business degree. It was in the business field. So as I was getting my degree, I took a course in marketing, and in the course, in the textbook, there was a story about Nordstrom. Nordstrom is a fairly high-end retailer, and they sell some expensive stuff. I have some stuff from them. I think my North Face beanie that I have on is from Nordstrom. But anyway, there's a story in the book in my marketing class, and we talked about it in marketing as well, Dr. Ford, and so we were discussing it, and there's a story in there about Nordstrom. There was an older lady that came in to return a tire to Nordstrom, and Nordstrom gave the lady $40. I think it was. The lady said she paid for the tire, and they gave her a refund, a $40 refund, took the tire. And Nordstrom has never sold tires. And the point is that even though they could sit there and say, well, we don't sell tires, get out of here, crazy lady. And the lady would have left, she was senile. Of course she was senile. She didn't know she didn't buy the $40 tire there. But she went on to spend way more than $40 at Nordstrom after that, and probably including the $40 that they gave her back. She probably spent it before she walked out the door. It gave her a good feeling about Nordstrom. I'm not saying every company should take back products that they don't sell. But what I am saying is that Nordstrom still has that tire in their corporate office. And there's a reason that Nordstrom is who they are. Is because of their approach to customer service. And any shift in one way versus the other, no, you're trying to get over on me. Customers are trying to get over on me. Customers complain too much. Customers do this. Customers do that. Customers are the reason you're still in existence as far as your business. So the better you do, the better job that you do to serve them, to make them feel good about the transaction, it only helps. It only helps. You being overprotective of your own interests and not considering the customer's interests is a sure recipe for failure. It's certainly when other companies start to enter the market and do those things, and they will. And like I said, that's just, it's going to take time for this to shake out. These companies are new. Still, some are going out of business. It's terrible. There's no nice way for me to say it. Across the board, they need work. Everyone that I've seen needs work. There are no companies that I would consider to be spotless, blemishless, so forth. And you're saying, well, you can't say that about any company. I personally can. I'll say it about Nordstrom. I'll say it about Amazon. For the most part, if you walk in Walmart and you argue enough and talk to the right person, you're gonna get some you're gonna get a valid. You're gonna get some satisfaction. You're gonna get satisfaction 99% of the time, in my opinion. Of course, there are exceptions, but there are few. There are very few. And having that mentality, once again, is the wrong approach. It's just the wrong approach. Watching your bottom line too closely and not the customer's face, whether they're smiling or frowning, is a mistake. It's a mistake. I'm not going to dwell. If you enjoyed this content, found it helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. Consider joining my Patreon, buying me a coffee, or picking up some merch. Thanks, and happy writing.